Spirit Sports Consultants presents
The NFL Championship games that we think is the best day of football of the year. Better than the Super Bowl, sorry. Let's first look at how the divisional games ended up. We got the Ravens beating my Texans 34-10. CJ Stroud and the team were overmatched. 49ers, wow, you can characterize that as a lucky win, escaping the Packers, who probably deserved to win the game, winning the game 24-21. You look at what the Lions did, winning that game, victory 31-23, and the best game of the lot would be Kansas City at Buffalo. I'm sorry, Buffalo fans. Wide right. Ouch. And I'm not making fun of you. There's some sympathy there. That was awful. Anyway, the Chiefs win that one 27-24. And before we continue, if you would, just join our channel. And if you like this video or find it useful, like it and then subscribe. We provide weekly NFL picks, highlights, and sports travel. Thank you. Now that I show you a good reason to subscribe, we were undefeated for divisional weekend. It's one of our favorite weekends of the season. We spot advantages because generally the home team has a huge edge. Here are the Ravens Texans. We had the Ravens minus 8.5. Thought the line was a little bit high. Got it down to 8.5, and of course it was a Ravens one-sided affair. Then we shifted to two totals plays for the subsequent games. Bucks and Lions, we figured that with that pass defense weakness, we were going to show you that. We'll show you that later. And then we've got a relatively reasonable number, 47. We took the over. It's indoors. Sure enough, that came in well over that, 31-23. Packers 49ers. The Packers have shown good offense against Dallas, but guess what? That's an indoor stadium. Now they're playing outdoors in horrible rainy conditions. We knew that would be an under, so it came in well under that. We took the under 51. And then our upset play of the week. Again, divisional weekend, usually there's one upset. We felt like the Chiefs were the better team here. Saw that line come in at Bills minus 2.5. That tells us Vegas didn't have a favorite. We jumped on that and got the Chiefs. So 4-0 for the week, including a parlay, moneyline parlay. Let's start off with the NFC Championship game, and congratulations to the Lions for making it first NFC Championship game appearance since 1991. The 91 season played in 92. Looking at the Lions at the 49ers, these two teams are remarkably similar. We're going to show you later the statistics and their tendencies, how balanced they are on both offense and defense. Everyone thinks probably the 49ers are a lot better. The numbers tell a different story. So let's look first at the Lions. Of course, we just mentioned it. This is their first championship game since the 1991 season. Was Barry Sanders, was Scott Mitchell on that team? Somebody tell me. I don't remember. I don't know who the quarterback was. And I don't think this is any more of the SOL. This is not the same old Lions team, the team that would show up, fail in the playoffs. If they were that SOL team, they would have lost against a very good Buccaneers team who, man, came real close, especially that two-point conversion. We like this Lions team. We'll talk about their defense in a little bit, getting some of their injured players back, Gardner Johnson, but the offense is really balanced. They run it, they pass it. We like them. So let's take a look at the 49ers, who we think are the best team in the NFC. They were probably definitely for the first 12 games. Again, balanced offense, running it, passing it. Christian McCaffrey is a big part of that. But in watching the Packers game, and we're not trying to offend anyone out there, we wonder if Brock Purdy is truly a Super Bowl quarterback. Watching a lot of these shows, they rank the playoff quarterbacks. He was near the bottom. And then what we saw against Green Bay, we think that Jordan Love outplayed him. It was a rainy day. Maybe that played into it, but we have concerns. Okay, now let's take a deep dive into the numbers and see how evenly matched these teams are. First, let's calculate what the line should be based on our formula. That is, offense scored, defense allowed, take the average. Looking at both of these, we're not going to give you the full formula here, but it does come out to 49ers by 7. And if you look at the opening line, you see 7 and 6.5. So the odds makers have that exactly right based on the formula that we've studied for the past. I'm not going to tell you how long. So now let's take a look at the specific statistics and see how close they are, as we alluded to. If you look at these numbers here, look at them. The first three are almost the exact same. Rush offense, pass offense, rush defense, within what, 5 yards each of them? That's how evenly matched these teams are. And also we want to talk about that rush defense. See if the Lions allow only 88 yards per game going against a predominantly running team like the 49ers. We're going to talk about that later if that's an advantage. Now the number that should concern Lions fans is the pass defense, 247. That's a lot. It's one of the weaker units in the league. However, they've got CJ Gardner Johnson back, who is a big part of that defense, and also Brian Branch. So we think those numbers are a little bit skewed, and they might point to an improvement for the Lions. Now let's take a closer look at the rush defense numbers. I'm going to point out a difference. If you see here, the Lions and 49ers are really close, right? 88 to 89.7. Let's take a look at another column. Average yards per rush. 3.7, 4.1. That's almost a half yard advantage for the Lions. We think against the rush-heavy 49ers, that's an edge. Next, let's talk advantages on each side and then make our pick. So the 49ers, obviously, home field can't be overstated. That's a huge advantage. It's a big part of our system, what we look at when evaluating wins. We like that balanced offense. The defense is great. They've improved since the start of the season by adding Chase Young. What do the Lions have? Well, they're coming back. They're getting Gardner Johnson back from injury. Pass defense has showed improvement. Jared Goff looks great. And then for them to be a road team, indoors team, it's a disadvantage to be outside, but not in San Francisco good weather. Provided it doesn't rain like it did last week, the home field advantage is not as big. We're taking the Lions here 27-24 in the upset. Moving to the AFC, we have the Super Bowl champions going up against the best team in the NFL, Chiefs at the Ravens. This game appears evenly matched with great offense, great defense, and Super Bowl pedigree all over the place. We had a hunch that the defending champs would start playing better, and now they have. But they're going up against what we just said and we've been saying for a long time are the best team in the NFL. Early on, we thought the 49ers were the best, but the Ravens kind of ended that debate. So then looking at what they did against C.J. Stroud, this is a guy that was leading the league in passing all year. The Texans were surging. He held C.J. Stroud to 3 points. The only touchdown they got was on a punt return. Really amazing defensive performance. And the question we had about Brock Purdy, we don't feel the same way about Lamar. He is a Super Bowl caliber QB. And we know Patrick Mahomes is on the other side. So this will be a great game. Next, let's talk about the Chiefs side. What are they going to bring to go against the Ravens? Next, let's look at the Chiefs, and man, poor Bills Mafia, wide right continues to haunt you. That kick was just such bad luck. It broke the wrong way. Right-footed kickers tend to break to the left. I don't know if the wind caught that or what, but don't hate on the kicker. The team probably would have lost against a resurgent Chiefs team. Their offense really starting to get into rhythm. We saw vintage Patrick Mahomes there taking advantage of a depleted Bills defense. You got to understand that they were not even close to fighting strength. Even the players that were there were recovering from injury. And then look on the other side of the ball. We think the Chiefs defense playing their best football in years. Steve Spagnuolo, unbelievable defensive coordinator, has that defense running all over the place and stopping everyone. Looking at the numbers again, we're looking at the scored allowed numbers. We show that the Ravens probably should be favored here by 6 to 7 points. So when you look at what the line comes out at 3, we see already you have an advantage for Baltimore. We think that's probably because the Chiefs have the name. They've got the marquee name with Patrick Mahomes. They are the defending champs. Let's look at the specific stats. We see the Ravens' rush offense is unreal, and we're going to look at that a little bit later. We think their ability to run the ball with what Josh Allen showed he could do to take advantage of that Chiefs defense, a very good defense. That might be their one weakness. Average yards per carry, running right up against the middle against the dynamic Lamar Jackson. Look out for that to affect the game. Before we give you our final selection for the Chiefs-Ravens AFC Championship game, we're going to look at specific advantages that we like. For one thing, we're looking at Patrick Mahomes. The dynamic offense that he provides, he and Travis Kelce and what they can do with that, and the running game seems to be a lot improved recently. We think that could give the Ravens defense trouble. On the other side of the ball, you look at what the Chiefs do well on defense. You have the cornerback sneak and shut down the top receiver for the offense, but the Ravens have varied receiving threats, and especially if they can get Mark Andrews back at tight end. That's like adding an all-pro player in a trade late in the season. That should give them a huge edge. And then looking at what the Chiefs did, allowing the running game of Josh Allen to take over, what are they going to do against Lamar? He's one of the most difficult players to prepare for in the entire league. Then you factor in the home field. We think the Ravens are your AFC champions, and we like them here 31-21 over the Chiefs. Now let's take a look at and make our recommendations for the championship game. Best bets. We look at the lines. Now this is early. We're putting this out Monday morning to give you guys a lot of time. So lines might move. They've already moved a little bit. For example, the Ravens line has already moved to 3.5. Let's look at here. San Francisco -7. We see it at 6.5 in some places. We see the best play for us. Again, we like the lines to win. So take that 7.5 number. We're going to do a third bet on the money line, 2/3 on the spread. Let's look at the best plays for the Ravens and the Chiefs. Again, we talked about our line calculation. The line should have been around 6, we think. It's moved from 3 to 3.5 just in the time we've been recording this video, just a few hours. So the total's number 44.5. We think when Vegas sets that 3.5-point line, they're trying to discourage you from taking the favorite. You think that is an underdog line, so that's why we're going to look for the Ravens, the best play. But get off that 3, look to get it down to 2.5. That's what we recommend. Or if that's unavailable, go ahead and take the Ravens money line. You don't want to be stuck on that 3.5-point hook. So that's all of our plays. Good luck for this week. That's it for the championship games.
That's all for this time. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to sharing our future videos with you.